Let me tell you something, and I want you to listen very, very closely. I am holding an imaginary piece of paper in my hand right now. It has fancy cursive writing on it, a shiny gold seal, and the signature of a university president who has probably never run a real business a single day in his life. It is called a bachelor's degree. And right now, I am taking this imaginary piece of paper, I am crumbling it up into a tiny little ball, and I am throwing it straight into the garbage can. Because in 2026, that is exactly where it belongs. We need to have a very serious conversation, because millions of young people are walking blindly into the greatest, most devastating legal scam in the history of the United States. They are brainwashing you. From the time you are 5 years old, your teachers, your guidance counselors, and the corporate suits have been drilling the same tired narrative into your head. Go to a good school, get a good degree, and you will get a safe, high-paying job. It is a total lie. A massive, embarrassing, incredibly destructive lie. They are convincing 18-year-old kids who cannot even legally buy a beer, to sign pieces of paper that lock them into $100,000 of non-dischargeable student loan debt. You are taking on a mortgage, but instead of getting a house, you are getting a piece of paper that qualifies you to fetch coffee as an unpaid intern. It is pathetic. It is a disaster. I am Big Don. I am not a college professor sitting in an ivory tower talking about theory. I am a guy who looks at the raw, unforgiving math of the real world. I look at what actually builds wealth, and I am telling you that the traditional education system is obsolete. The world has changed. Artificial intelligence is wiping out entry-level white-collar jobs by the millions. If your only qualification is that you know how to sit in a lecture hall and pass a multiple-choice test, you are going to be replaced by a computer program before you even get your diploma. But today, that stops. Today, I am going to destroy the college myth once and for all. I am going to give you the exact blueprint to bypass this broken system. I am going to reveal the 3 specific high-income skills that you need to master right now in 2026 to make serious, life-changing money without ever stepping foot on a university campus. And listen to me. Skill number 1, which I am going to reveal at the end of this countdown, is the ultimate secret. It is the one skill that universities are absolutely terrified you will discover, because once you have it, you become completely untethered from the corporate matrix. You become your own economy. Grab a pen, throw away your college brochures, and pay attention. We are going to make your wallet great again. Before I give you the 3 skills, we need to pull out the whiteboard. Because people love to argue with opinions, but nobody can argue with the whiteboard math. The math is brutal, and it always tells the truth. Let us look at the true opportunity cost of going to college in 2026. We are going to introduce a character. We will call him College Kevin. Kevin is a good kid. He listens to his parents, he gets decent grades, and he enrolls in a standard 4-year state university to get a degree in communications or business administration. The average cost of tuition, room, board, and textbooks is easily sitting at $25,000 a year. Over 4 years, College Kevin is spending $100,000. He takes out federal and private student loans at a 7% interest rate to pay for this. But wait, that is only half of the disaster. We have to factor in the opportunity cost. While Kevin is sitting in a dorm room learning about 18th century literature and drinking cheap beer on a Tuesday afternoon, he is not working a full-time job. Let us assume that a smart, driven 18-year-old could easily go out into the workforce and make $40,000 a year just by hustling. Over those 4 years, Kevin misses out on $160,000 of potential income. Let's do the final calculation. $100,000 in student loan debt plus $160,000 in lost wages. College Kevin is effectively starting his adult life at a negative $260,000 deficit. He is $250,000 in the hole on the day he graduates. And what does he get for this massive sacrifice? He gets a piece of paper that gets him an entry-level job paying $50,000 a year. After taxes and his massive $800 a month student loan payment, Kevin is broke. He cannot afford a house, he cannot afford a new car, and he definitely cannot afford to invest. He is a financial prisoner. Now, let us look at a different path. Let us look at the Big Don approach. Instead of spending 4 years and hundreds of thousands of dollars on a bloated academic vacation, what if you took 6 intense months to master a high-income skill? A skill that businesses are actually desperate for. A skill that directly generates revenue. You spend $0 on tuition. You take free online courses. You practice obsessively. Within 6 months, you enter the marketplace not with a degree, but with a portfolio of results. You start charging for your value immediately. You bypass the debt trap entirely. This is the only logical path forward. So, what are these magical skills? Let's get into the countdown. Skill number 3 on the Big Don blueprint is AI orchestration. Now, listen to me very carefully, because 99% of people misunderstand what this means. When I say AI, I am not talking about logging into ChatGPT and asking it to write a cute little poem for your girlfriend, or having it write an email to your boss. Everyone can do that. That is basic level stuff. Knowing how to type a prompt into a chatbot in 2026 is like knowing how to use Microsoft Word in 2010. It is the bare minimum expectation. It does not make you special, and it certainly does not make you rich. What makes you rich is AI orchestration. This is the ability to connect different artificial intelligence tools together to completely automate a business process. It is about building systems, not just generating text. Let me give you a very real, very lucrative example. Let us say you find a local real estate agency. Right now, this agency is spending a fortune on human labor. They have a secretary manually reading through hundreds of emails. They have an assistant manually entering leads into a spreadsheet. They have a junior agent manually typing out follow-up text messages to potential buyers. It is slow, it is prone to human error, and it is incredibly expensive. If you are an AI orchestrator, you do not ask them for a job. You offer them a solution. You go in and say, I can replace this entire clunky system. You use tools like Zapier or Make.com. You connect their email inbox to an AI model. You train the AI to instantly read every incoming email, extract the client's budget and location preferences, automatically update the CRM database, and instantly send a personalized, hyper-realistic follow-up email to the client within 3 seconds of them reaching out. You just built an automated machine that works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, never takes a sick day, and never asks for a vacation. Do you know how much that is worth to a business owner? If you save a business owner 60 grand a year in administrative salaries, they will gladly write you a check for 10 grand to set that system up. And the best part? It might only take you 1 weekend of focused work to build it. The universities are completely useless here. They are still trying to figure out how to stop students from using AI to cheat on their meaningless essays. They are fighting the technology. You need to leverage it. You need to become the person who builds the robots, not the person whose job gets replaced by the robot. AI orchestration is the ultimate leverage in the modern economy. Learn it, master it, and sell it.
That brings us to skill number 2.
If you want to make life-changing money, you have to get comfortable with the one word that academic elites absolutely despise. That word is sales. Specifically, B2B sales, business to business. You will almost never find a sales major at a prestigious university. Do you know why? Because the professors teaching business classes have never actually sold anything in the real marketplace. They have spent their entire lives reading textbooks and grading papers. They view sales as something dirty, something manipulative, something beneath their intellectual dignity. That is the mindset of a broke person. It is a disaster. Let me tell you a fundamental truth about capitalism. Nothing happens in this world until a sale is made. The brilliant engineers who code the software do not get paid until a salesperson closes a contract. The factory workers do not get paid until the inventory is sold. Sales is the lifeblood of the entire global economy. Every billionaire on the planet, whether they admit it or not, is an elite salesperson. You have to sell your vision, you have to sell your product, and you have to sell yourself.
No.
But I am not talking about selling vacuum cleaners door to door, and I am not talking about manipulating your friends into joining a pyramid scheme. I am talking about high-ticket B2B sales. In B2B sales, you are dealing with logic, ROI, and massive budgets. You are selling a 50 grand logistics software package to a shipping company. You are selling a 100 grand cybersecurity system to a regional bank. You are dealing with CEOs and purchasing managers who have the authority to write massive checks if you can prove that your product will save them money or make them money. Let's go back to the whiteboard math. If you are a B2B sales representative, it is very standard to earn a 10% commission on the deals you close. If you spend 3 weeks negotiating and closing a 100 grand contract, you just made 10 grand in a single signature. You close 2 of those a month, and you are making $240,000 a year. You are making $250,000 a year in your 20s without a college degree, simply because you know how to communicate value, handle objections, and close a deal. And here is the beautiful thing about sales. It is the ultimate meritocracy. It is the only profession in the world where your background, your GPA, and your resume mean absolutely nothing. A sales manager does not care if you went to Harvard or if you dropped out of high school. They only care about one metric. Can you close? Can you bring revenue into this building? If you can close, you are untouchable. You will never be unemployed. During a recession, companies fire the middle managers. They fire the marketing assistants. They fire the HR coordinators. They never, ever fire the top salespeople, because the top salespeople are the ones keeping the lights on. Learning to sell requires you to develop a thick skin. It requires you to face rejection hundreds of times and not take it personally. It requires supreme psychological resilience. College cannot teach you this. You learn this by picking up the phone, making cold calls, getting hung up on, analyzing your mistakes, and dialing the next number. It is brutal. It is exhausting, but it is the most guaranteed path to a 6-figure income that exists in the modern world. All right, we have reached it. Skill number 1, the Holy Grail. The ultimate secret that breaks the entire corporate system. If you truly want to escape the rat race and build generational wealth in 2026, you must master the art of audience building. You must create an attention monopoly. Let me explain the old way of doing things. The old way, the college way, is that you print out a piece of paper called a resume. You list your mediocre GPA, your participation in some irrelevant college club, and your basic computer skills. Then, you dress up in a cheap suit, you knock on the door of a massive corporation, and you beg them to give you a job. You are standing in a line of 500 other desperate college graduates who look exactly like you, sound exactly like you, and have the exact same useless piece of paper. You have zero leverage. The company holds all the power. They offer you a pathetic salary, and you accept it because you have no other choice. That is a sad, miserable way to live your life. The new way is audience building. In the modern digital economy, money no longer flows to the people with the highest degrees. Money flows to the people who hold the attention of the masses. Attention is the most valuable currency on earth. It is more valuable than oil. If you can build an audience on YouTube, on X, on LinkedIn, or through an email newsletter, you fundamentally flip the power dynamic of the economy. You stop being the person begging for a job, and you become the platform. You become the bank. Think about the math of a digital audience. Let us say you spend 2 years consistently creating high-quality, valuable content about a specific niche. It doesn't matter what the niche is. It could be about fixing vintage cars, it could be about fitness, or it could be about personal finance. Over those 2 years, you attract 50,000 loyal subscribers. You now have a stadium full of people who trust your voice, who value your opinion, and who tune in to hear what you have to say. When you have 50,000 loyal followers, you never have to submit a resume again for the rest of your life. If you want to start a consulting business, you mention it to your audience, and you have clients booking calls within 10 minutes. If you create a digital product, like a course or a software template, and you sell it for $100, you only need 1% of your audience to buy it to make 50 grand in a single weekend. Do you understand the magnitude of this leverage? You are operating a media empire from your laptop. And the corporate world knows this. If a company wants to reach those 50,000 people, they cannot just run a generic television commercial anymore. Nobody watches commercials. They have to come to you. They have to knock on your door, and they have to pay you thousands of dollars for a 60-second sponsorship spot in your video. The universities will never teach you how to build a personal brand, because personal brands do not need universities. When you build an audience, you are building an asset that nobody can ever take away from you. A boss can fire you from a job. A college can revoke a scholarship. But nobody can fire you from your own audience. It is the ultimate insurance policy. It takes time. It takes immense consistency. It requires you to put yourself out there, to face public criticism, and to create value for free before you ever see a dime. But it is the single highest ROI activity you can possibly engage in. Stop consuming content for 5 hours a day and start creating it. Stop being the audience and start building the audience. Let us zoom out and look at the big picture. Let me show you how these 3 skills combine to make you absolutely unstoppable. I call it the Synergistic Empire. If you just know AI orchestration, you are a useful technician. If you just know B2B sales, you are a good closer. If you just have an audience, you are an entertainer. But when you combine all 3, you become a one-person, multi-million-dollar enterprise. You use your audience-building skills to attract thousands of eyeballs and generate warm, inbound leads without spending a penny on advertising. You use your B2B sales skills to get on a video call with those leads, handle their objections, and close high-ticket consulting or service contracts. And finally, you use your AI orchestration skills to fulfill the work automatically, delivering incredible results at lightning speed without having to hire a massive team of employees. Traffic, revenue, fulfillment. You control the entire pipeline. You have the power of a 50-person corporation from a decade ago, but you are doing it alone, from your dining room table with 90% profit margins. That is what real wealth building looks like in 2026. It is not about sitting in a boring lecture hall listening to a professor read from a PowerPoint presentation. It is about acquiring hard, unforgiving, highly leveraged skills that the marketplace is begging for. College is a scam for the vast majority of people. It is a debt trap wrapped in a shiny brochure. You do not need their permission to be successful. You do not need their piece of paper to validate your intelligence. You just need to learn the skills that actually move the needle. Now, knowing what skills to learn is one thing. Actually getting your first paying client when you have 0 experience and no fancy degree is the real challenge. You are going to face imposter syndrome. You are going to wonder how to price your services. That is why I made another video right there on your screen. It is the exact step-by-step playbook on how to land your first $1,000 client using nothing but cold outreach and raw confidence. It breaks down the exact scripts to use, the exact platforms to target, and how to position yourself as an expert even if you are just starting out. Stop playing by the rules of a broken system. Stop waiting for someone to hand you an opportunity. Click that video right now, take massive action, and let's make your wallet great again. I will see you over there.